Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for attending our webinar today. Today is February 14th, 2017, and this is PandaDoc 102, Electronic Signatures. In this webinar, we'll go into the overview of the PandaDoc system and use PandaDoc for electronic signatures. We'll create documents two ways and show us examples of using fields, such as the signature field and initial field, in order to capture data from our recipients. My name is James, and I'm the technical manager here at PandaDoc. And at the end of my presentation, I will do a live Q&A session, use the GoToMeeting questions and answer box. So if you do have some questions along the way, please reach out to those, and I will go through those together at the end. So let's go and start off here on our website, in this section here under the solutions called the PandaDoc E-Signatures. And what is electronic signature? Well, electronic signature, also known as the e-sig, can take any electronic form as long as attached to a record has been adopted by the person who intended to execute it, which in turn, PandaDoc E-Signatures is a solution if you're looking for that type of process. With this, we can streamline sales, your onboarding, training, and much more with the PandaDoc Unlimited Legal Bind Electronic Signatures. It is e-Sign Act and UETA compliant. We can sign on any computer or mobile device, such as an iPad or an Android device as your phone. It's legally binding and court admissible, and no special software or hardware is required to sign. All you need to have is an internet access and a web browser to open up the PandaDoc document. So let's go ahead and log into PandaDoc. So here I'm inside of PandaDoc. I'm sure as most of you have gone and looked at before and logged in and kind of take a look around, or even start sending out your own documents. And with electronic signatures inside of PandaDoc, it's really about the definition of the status of a document. So what we're looking at here, everybody, is something here called the dashboard. And on the dashboard, you notice that we have four status here. We have a draft, a sent, a viewed, and finally a completed status. Now, in order to get a completed status of a document, we need to go through electronic signature by using something called the signature field or the initial field, and I'll explain to you all those great options that we have today. But first, as I mentioned at the beginning, we talked about how we can use PandaDoc to create two different types of documents for electronic signatures, and I'll walk you through that process. First is we're going to create a new document, and then we're going to use an existing template that I've built, and I'll walk you through that process and how we can get that document sent out very quickly. So over here on the top right-hand side, we're going to click on New Document. And the very first thing we're going to do here today, we're going to do something called an upload option. Now, what's an upload? But basically, an upload option is for you to physically take a file that you have used in the past, like a PDF file, a Word document file, and physically upload that into the PandaDoc system. So we can drag and drop a file in here, or we could choose it from our local file, or down at the bottom here, we could choose or connect to a local storage option or cloud storage option, including Dropbox, Google Drive, Box, and OneDrive that we can connect to pull in documents. So I've already connected my Google Drive here, and I'm going to my starred file. So an example here is a document called the sample document for webinar, which is I'm going to use here to kind of break this down process for you of how we could use fields. Give me a couple seconds here. We'll get this process and get this loaded up. And here we go. So inside of an uploaded document, one of the things you have to remember is that you're not going to have the ability to make any changes to that document because it's, almost like as an image. Once you upload it, you can't make any changes to it. However, over here on the right-hand side, we have these things called fields. And this is what we use in order to have a completed e-signature from our recipients. Now, I'll go through and I'll talk about how we could use each of these fields today in an uploaded document, and how we can use the initial field and the signature field in a template for future documents going forward. So let's go and talk about each one of these. So first, something here is called the text field. And with each of these fields, you simply drag and drop over. And over here on the right-hand side, each field has a settings option that you can define what this field is going to be presented. So first is we have a title option. So a title is a great way to enter in some information to let your recipient know what should be going in here. For example, entering your name. And you also notice that this will also shows up right down here at the bottom. Okay. Next, of course, is we have required options. So if you want to force them to fill out this field, we can certainly do that. With the text field option, we also have the ability for a multi-line text option that we can enable. And what this does, this will allow us to expand this option out, or to expand this field out, so now your recipient can fill in multiple lines of text. Right, so there might be situations where you ask them to fill out, like a paragraph or information, or maybe some about us information. Lots and lots of different things you can do with that. But for our purposes here today, I'll leave that as a turn that off for multi-line text. And then finally, for all fields, of course, we need to assign a recipient. So who is going to be responsible of filling that out? Now we can click on here and click on Add New. We can add a brand new contact, or if you already added contact, inside of your PandaDoc account, you can just type in the first few letters of that person's name, click on it, and now this person is associated with this document. And also, you notice that a little flag will pop up to let you know about your fields, who they are assigned to, right? Because this can certainly help you out, especially if you have multiple recipients of the document and you have multiple fields and you want to know who for sure is going to be assigned to which field. Next, of course, is our signature field, and our signature field is part of our e-signature tool. This is how we can complete documents. It's very simple, very easy. All you need to do is bring over that signature field, and in turn it would show up. Of course, you assign it to recipient out, and now this signature field is associated with this document. And as I mentioned, this is the signature field, also the initial field, which is the next one I'll be working on here, or add this into this document, is how we can complete documents, and in turn, on the PDF version, you have a completed e-signature solution with that. Now with the fields, of course, these other fields, you can also move them up and down as well, as you notice here. Once again, because we don't know the sizes that you will need for your individual documents, especially if you upload them. But for the initials field is very simple as well. Over here on the right-hand side is that required options. You can force them to fill that out. You know, initials field can be used for a variety of different things, everything from completion of pages, making sure that you read all the information, you know, adding to a pricing table, right? So they can confirm that the pricing information is correct. Lots and lots of different things you can do with the initial field. Next, of course, is the date field, and the date is a great way to capture a date, right, from our recipients. And over here on the right-hand side, we can have that title option, and we can set that up if we wanted to. There is that required option. You could turn them on or off. We also have a date format option here. So this is what's really nice, is that depending on how we get this, make this selection here, when this field is then completed by our recipients, it will have that type of formatting. So if you need to have your document very specific for your dates, you can certainly remember to do that with a date format. Next, of course, is our checkbox. I use this one on a daily basis, everything from yes, no's to confirmation of pages, even from questions to be asked and answers, right? Very simple. All I need to do is add it over here on the right-hand side. You could provide a title here if you wanted to. You can set it to required option if you want to force them to fill that in or out. This is off by default because we simply don't know how you, as our clients, will use your checkbox field, especially if you're doing yes, no's, right? You don't want to have them both set to required. You want them the option to choose one which will best fits their needs. And of course, an option to assign to recipient. We keep on going down. Next is the drop-down field. Once again, this is a great option if you want to provide choices for your recipients, right? Because you get to build out your own list for your recipient to choose from. Over here on the right-hand side, we have a title option. We have a required option to force them to fill that out, or select a option that we set up. Assign a recipient, of course, and then we get to build out our drop-down item list. For example, item number 1, and then we can click on item number, or add item number 2, and I'll add one more just to be safe for everybody. Item number 3. And then once you've built out your list of items as well, you also have the ability to move them up and down, right, which is great, so depending on the order if you want them set to. And then of course you can always go into that field and match up. You'll notice that what you've created will match up for your recipients to choose from. So great option if you're looking for a way for your recipients to choose. Next here is something called the masked field. The masked field is associated with all of our plans. And over here on the right-hand side, we do have a title option, and you can set this to required, and of course assign it to recipient. And basically what this one does, this will allow only you and this person to see the information they filled out, also known as masks. So when you kick this off to your recipient and they filled out this information, only you as the author and this person who filled it out can see it, right? Because there might be situations or sometimes where you know, only you have multiple recipients to the document, right? And if you have one person filling out an authorization number or maybe even a credit card number, those types of things, right? You don't want to share that with all recipients of the document. The other option we have is upload. This is a great way if you want to have your recipient to attach a file to this field. Over here on the right-hand side, there's a title option. There's required to set that on or off. Assign it to recipient, but there's also a section here called help text. For example, per our discussion, please upload your file here, right? And what this does, this help text will show up inside of this field. So when your recipients click on this, they're going to see this information right here. So if you wanted to, you could be very specific, very detailed for your individual clients, asking them to attach files. And then of course, once they have attached a file, you as the author, right, have the ability to download that file onto your computer for the needs that you have. So great way if you're looking for that a little extra thing to add attached files or have your recipient attach files to it. The last option that we have here is something called the text field. Now, the text field is a little bit different from the others, and that is that for when you're using the upload option here in PandaDoc, this field is allowed for you, the author of this document, in turn to add some additional text, right? Because I mentioned at the beginning is that when you upload files in the PandaDoc for this, they're almost like images, right? You're not going to have to make any changes to this. However, with this field, you have the ability to add additional text to it. Hello, please click on each field and complete, right? So all you're in complete, right? All you're doing is you're just adding some extra text in there to provide to your recipients in order, things that you want to add to it. So like I said, this is just the first way inside of PandaDoc in order to using things called fields, right, by using your own documents. And the reasons why I take people through this, because lots of us who never used a cloud solution before, like PandaDoc, have these old documents we've used in the past, the PDF files, the MS Word files, all sorts of things that we have out there. So this is a kind of a great way to kind of get you started, especially if you have those documents that you want to continue to use. They work out for you, and all you need to do is simply add fields and send them out for your recipients to fill out that information. Okay. So the other thing I want to talk with you about today, or other way we want to talk with you about, is using fields inside of a template for e-signatures. So basically, I'm over here on the left-hand side. I'm inside of templates, and basically what a template is an item that you can create to be used again and again and again, right? Because there's going to be situations and times where you want to use the same type of document structure, just send it out to different recipients. And templates is a really, really great way to go with that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to open up an existing template that I've created here in the past, and I'm going to walk you through how we can use templates to those things with fields, of course, and for an e-signature from our recipients. Once we go through this process, I'm going to send out this document to a dummy recipient, and in turn, we'll review it, what it looks like from our recipient's point of view, so you have an understanding how fields work inside the PandaDoc system for e-signature. Okay? So first of all, over here on the right-hand side, we're going to go into here a section here called roles. Now, inside of roles, this is very, very important that you understand this, is that inside of templates, we have roles. Inside of documents, we have recipients, right? And the idea about setting up a role inside of your PandaDoc templates is that all you need to do is associate a recipient to the role one time, and then everything is automatically be connected. Now you notice with this role, I'm going to scroll down here. I'm using some tokens here to populate this information, as you see right here. As I scroll down through my amazing looking template here today, I'm going to go down to where I'm using fields. And you notice that I have a pricing table here, and this is our recipient's going to be able to review this, look through this. It's going to populate that token value right here from the total of the pricing table. But what we're doing here, we're asking for acceptance of the pricing table. Okay, so what I've used here is a field called initials, right? So this is a really great way for you to make sure that your recipients of your documents understand what they're about to pay for example, using it with a pricing table. So inside of templates, of course, we've added the field. So here's the field options that we can set up, including the name required option. But instead of a recipient, right, we have a thing called a role. And what I've done is I've associated the client role to this individual field. Okay. So once again, what's going to happen is that when I create a document from this template, I assign a recipient to the role one time, and these fields will automatically be populated or assigned to that individual recipient. Okay. I have one more field here called the signature field, of course, and I'm going to make sure that this is enabled. Over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to go and do the name here, of course. Going to have the signature name, assign it to the role right here. And then I'm going to add one more. I'm going to include some information here for a date. So I'm going to add the field called date. I'm going to drag it, drop it into my template right here. And I want to make sure we have all this set up correctly with required option, my date format, which is going to be day, day, month, month, year, year, and then make sure that's assigned to the client role. Okay. Now, one of the things that we really have a great option here in PandaDoc is that if you're using our editor to create content, we also have the ability to save these blocks of content to be used again and again. And this is something called a content library. So what I've done here is I've clicked on this individual text block, and over here on the right-hand side, here's my text block settings that I have. Right here in this option, as part of our business and enterprise plans, we have the ability to use add to content library. And once I do that, I have two options. I can build a brand new library item, or I can use or build on an existing item. Click next in order to save that. And what's great about it is that once again, in future templates and future documents that I use, I can go into my library over here on the right-hand side. You notice all these blocks here that I've created in the past, and if I wanted to, I can simply go ahead and drag it and drop it in, just like that. Okay, so if you're using the PandaDoc Business and Enterprise Plan, if you plan on having multiple users inside of your account, I do recommend that you create content library items, especially for things like this, for signature fields and date fields, right? Because all you simply need to do is just drag and drop them into your templates and for your future documents. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we have this template, and we're going ahead and create a document from this template, and we're going to notice that all this information is going to populate here for us, and those fields will be automatically assigned. So what I'll do here is over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to click on Create Doc. And if you're using roles, the very first thing it's going to say is assign people to roles, right? So all I have to do now is just find the role, or find the recipient, excuse me, of who I want to associate to this role. So I'm going to choose here my James template, one of my sub-accounts that I have. Now this recipient is associated with the client role. Under Add More Recipients, I can add additional people to be CC'd if I want them to be, or I can also add me as a recipient if I want to be CC'd on my documents. So what I'm going to do now is click on Start Editing. So what we're looking at here now, everybody, we're now inside of a document, and we can confirm that by over here in the upper left-hand side, we're in Documents, and of course we have a status of draft. So once again, draft status is all about creation of our documents, right? So as we scroll down here, you notice that my tokens have been populated by using the role and my contact information. As I scroll down here, here's my template once again with all of my documents, excuse me, with all of its great information and content that I've created here today. As I scroll down, here's my pricing table. So I'm going to have a website set up for them to choose, and the quantity. And of course, we have the total of the pricing table automatically populates when I'm using tokens right there. So you can notice how useful that situation could be for sure by using tokens as well. Here we are with those three fields that we have. First is that initial field, right? So over here on the right-hand side, the initial field, all we're concerned about now is to assign a recipient, and you notice that a recipient now is associated with this role. So when we send out this document and they open that, they're going to be asked to fill in this initial field. Next, of course, we have the signature field, once again associated with that same recipient as we associate with the role, and of course the date field is assigned to that individual recipient as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, everybody, is I'm going to take this document and I'm going to send it out to my sub account here. So let me click on Send. So now we're going through the Send Document Process option. Very first thing is proposal name, and I'm going to put this in here for James. So I'm going to give it a full title. Click on Save and Continue. Next, here's the Send Document screen that pops up here. I can go ahead and change the subject line here if I wanted to. I can add an additional message here if I wanted to. Or I can use a save message. For example, here's some saved messages that I've created in the past. I'm going to use example here. It drops all this information in here just like that, and now we can click on Send. So what we're doing now, we just went from a draft document to a sent document because we physically click on the send button, which in turn be sent out to our recipients. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the email that's coming out of PandaDoc. We'll be going through this process together of what it looks like from a recipient's point of view and how we can use it and how they can fill out those fields. Okay? So here's the email that I've just sent out. You notice that here's the subject line and all that type of stuff right there. Inside of this main view of the main body of the email, we have this PandaDoc logo, which you could change inside of your account. Down here at the bottom, we also have this email footer that you could change. But it says, hello, per our discussion, please open and complete the document. Questions, let me know. Let's do it. So now we're opening the document. So now we're going from a sent status, right, to a viewed status, which in turn, this is all trackable inside of PandaDoc to always let you know where are we at, which status, what's going on with that document. So now we'll open up this document that we sent out. So as I mentioned in the beginning, PandaDoc can be used across any standard web browser, Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, and of course through mobile devices such as an iPad or an Android tablets and phones as well. So from a recipient's point of view, over here in the upper left-hand side, you have a PandaDoc logo. You can change this inside of your account. We have, of course, the document name. Over here on the right-hand side, we have a comment section. So this is really great for your recipients to understand that this is the first email that we sent out to them. But also in PandaDoc, our recipients also have the ability to reach out to us as well, saying, hello, I just opened the document and will be completing soon. Right? So this is a really great way and communication method with the recipients of documents. So maybe they haven't opened the document or maybe they haven't completed the document. You can always open up, you know, as the author, open up those documents, use comments, send them an email, says, hey, take a look at your document, and in turn you can follow up with them as well. So inside the main view here now of this document, as we scroll down, we have our sample proposal, our table of contents, our About Us information, our solutions overview, of course, what makes us unique, and all the great information that we have there, some case studies that we've included within this document. Here's this pricing table that we got. We have a website setup of 4 to 5 days, a price of $400. We have a quantity option. This is configurable and it's for your pricing tables as well, right? So if you want to give them the ability to make any changes to the quantities, let's say we want a 2 here, right? You notice that this pricing table will be automatically updated in the fly in real time. Our token's been populated with our information, and now is asking about, you have 3 items to fill in, and this black bar is basically telling us that our recipients has fields to capture because the system is smart enough to let our recipients know what they need to complete, right? So we have a couple different options. We can click on each one of these fields if we want to, or our recipients can click on the next button and we'll take them through each of these fields. So let's go click on next. So first is their initials field. Now the initials field, we have 2 ways that we can use or set up inside of PandaDoc for our recipients to capture our initials, right? There's a draw option, so using their mouse, they can draw all their initials like that, and of course they could choose color as well. Or there's their type option, so their initials would show up here, and in turn they could choose one of these 6 predefined views of that initials. So I'm going to choose this one right here, and I'm going to choose the blue ink today, and I'm going to click on accept. You notice that this field has now been completed, and the black bar will tell us you have 2 more items to fill in, which of course we know, which is the date or the signature and the date field. So we click on next here, of course. Here is our PandaDoc E-Signature tools using the signature field. With this, we have 3 options, which is also configurable inside of your account. From here, there's a draw option, the type option, and the upload. So draw option, of course, using their mouse, they get to draw out their signature. The type option, their full name, you can have them choose from one of these 6 options, including a different color. Or we have the upload option, so your recipient has the ability in order to upload a signature image to this field as well. So many different options available for you. However, you know, it is also customizable, depends on your area, depends on your country, or you know, just depends on the type of options you want to provide. So for this example here, I'm going to use the type option today, and I'm going to choose this one right here, and then click on blue and click on accept and sign. It goes through it, One more process, of course, is you have one more item to fill in, which is that date field, right? How date field works is very simple. We click on next here. You notice a calendar will pop up here, and we're going to choose the last day of the month, which is the 28th. We click on that. You notice it will populate as we define that individual field. And then once all fields are completed, the next thing it says, you click Done to complete this document. So once again, it gives our instructions to the recipients of what they need to do next, right, in order to complete. So all that we need to do now is click Done. Once we do that, in turn, they're going to receive a message like this. It says, congratulations, you successfully completed this document. You can download a PDF version now. Let's do it. So remember, everybody, while you're creating of documents inside of PandaDoc, you're really creating two versions, right? You're creating a web version, and also you're creating a PDF version that your recipients can download once the document has been completed. As we scroll down here, here's a version of the PDF that we have here with all the great content and information today. We scroll down, here is our initials that we completed, our signature that we completed, and of course the date information. And then as we scroll down, each and every single document that you send out to PandaDoc will have a digital certificate that includes a document reference number, a first and last name of your recipient, their verified email address, the date and time of that event or of that signature or initial, and the IP address, just in case you have any questions, legal issues, those type of stuff as well, where in turn, as you as the author have the same ability to download this version to a PDF document, and you also have this e-signature certificate. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up and back into my doc where I created this one today, and now we notice up here on the left-hand side we have a completed status, right? So in turn, I can scroll through my document as well inside of PandaDoc here, and you notice that all the fields have been completed, which in turn we have now gone through a complete life cycle of a document, from a draft to a sent to a viewed, and to finally to a completed option, just like we have on our dashboard, right? Which in turn we can track all documents by individual status. Now, with each document itself, we also have over here on the right-hand side things called activity, and inside of that, of course, is the comments, and this is how we can communicate down here at the bottom. This is something I recommend that you do, especially if you after your recipients have completed the document, right? You could go back in here and it says, hello again. Thank you for completing the document. We will get to work soon, right? So what you're doing here is just a great communication method back to the recipient of the document, letting them know, right, that you have, that you saw that they have completed the document, and we can start our process with getting to work, okay? Also, we have things called the audit trail. So as I mentioned at the beginning, it's all about statuses in PandaDoc, right? Well, each document we track by status. When it was a draft, when it was sent, when our customer viewed it, when they completed it, and all that information available to you based upon a date and time stamp based upon your computer settings. So this in turn could help you understand where your recipient's at in the documentation and the signing process. Okay, so I'm going to open up to some live Q&A now. So if you do have additional questions, this is now the time. I'm going to go through and talk about some additional settings that we have regarding e-signatures, and we'll go through some questions together. Okay, so down here in the lower left-hand side, I'm going to go into my settings, and inside of settings, of course, we have all these different great things, but the first option, of course, is the profile. And inside of profile, we recommend that you go down into notifications and check when you want to be notified. Personally, I want to be notified when all events happen, when documents are open, when comments are posted, when documents are completed, right? But these, you can certainly give us some options available for you, depends on how you want to be notified of the documents as well, okay? Next, I'm going into settings. In settings here, you're going to find those available signature types that we just talked about, giving your choices of how your recipients can complete documents with the signature field, right? So for example, if we don't want to give them the ability to upload their own individual signature by image, we can certainly turn that off just like that. We also have the available initials. So once again, we have the two initial types, the draw and the type option. And if you do not want to provide them options for the type, for example, or for the draw, you can simply uncheck that box, save, and then going forward, all brand new documents, your recipients will only be able to choose the options that you set up right there as well. Okay. Questions, here we go. Can you hide the PandaDoc spam? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Johnny. We do a great deal of number of things in our back end, reduce the amount of spam that we have, or how our recipients receive email documents, or email from PandaDoc, excuse me. If you have some questions or concerns about that, you're always welcome to reach out to us, okay? Thank you so much. Question, when the customer downloads the document. Yes, they can download the document at any time once the document has been completed. Question from Noel. If we are out in the field with a client, they want to seal the deal, and we want them to sign on the spot, are they able to finger sign on the spot? That's a very, very good question, Noel. And unfortunately, at this time, we don't have the ability for in-person signing, meaning that if you have a tablet, right, and you open up your PandaDoc account, you open up that document, and you want your recipient to sign it right then and there, they can't do that inside of your account. Okay, that document needs to be sent out of PandaDoc so your recipient can open the document via like a mobile web browser, for example. And if that is the case, yes, using the standard web browsers on your Android devices such as Google Chrome or on your Mac devices such as Safari, they can open up that document, go into that individual field, and then complete that document. I hope that makes sense here for you, Noel. Another question, when we first signed up with PandaDoc, they showed us that we'll be able to build it in the system. Will this be coming out soon? Yes, this is something that we are working on for 2017. I don't have a specific ETA as of yet, Noel, but it's definitely something that we're going to have in our system here. Very good question so much. Thank you so much, everybody. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions coming in today, so let me do a couple additional things and we'll hop off, okay? So, you know, as all of you go forward here with PandaDoc, you might have some questions, you might have some ideas or thoughts or enhancements, just like Noel asked me there. All of you are very, very welcome to contact us and reach out to us and how we can help you if you have any ideas or thoughts of how we can do better going forward. We do that by down here in the lower right-hand side, we click on the green gear icon. And in turn, this will take us to a fully functional FAQ center. So if you want to know information about signature field, right? You can do a search for signature, for example, and it will take us into the fields and how to use them. But we also have a contact our support button that we can click on. In turn, this conversation piece will come up. And in turn, we can click on new conversation. And this will send us an email to a very well trained and very well patient support staff that can help you out with any questions, concerns, or ideas and thoughts that you maybe want to bring to PandaDoc in the future. Please use that. Please reach out to us and we'll do our best to take care of you. Hi, Johnny. I'm sorry I would missed your message there. If you can, please just reach out to us and we can help you out with any questions that you have, okay? And then finally, of course, on our website, let's go back to that real quickly. We're going to our webinar section, and we do have more upcoming webinars here as well for the next 2 or 3 months, including 2 weeks from now, templates and content library, design options, and much, much more. So if you're interested in certainly learning more about PandaDoc, please be sure to sign up for those additional webinars, and we'll do our very best to take care of you as well. Okay? A survey will pop up here at the end, so if you do got about 2 minutes, please let me know I did. And as always, if you do have any additional questions, concerns, please reach out to us and we'll do our very best to take care of each and every one of you. We thank you so much for attending our webinar here today, and you all have a fantastic afternoon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.